Good evening and a very warm welcome from SVC News. Two new charges have been put against the three Seychelles men and 11 Iranian nationals in the human trafficking case before the court.
The first new charge against Fabio Subramanian, Dario Subramanian, and Gérard Bastien in the human trafficking case is abducting a person with intent to cause that person to be secretly and wrongly confined. And the other new charge in the same case involving the Iranian men is conspiracy to wrongfully conceal or confine a person knowing that the person has been abducted with intent to cause that person to be secretly and wrongly confined. The other two counts they are already being faced with are conspiracy to commit aggravated trafficking of a person and conspiracy to commit trafficking of a person. According to the amended charges document that was served to the court, Mr. Andy Bistoke from Osopin, found on an Iranian dhow, was drugged and threatened, and he was offered reward to achieve his consent to being controlled for the purpose of using him as drug guarantee without so informing that was the reason of his travel. The case, which was heard by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Ronnie Govindan, will be heard next on 18th of February. In the other case of trafficking over 142 kilograms of controlled drugs, in which the three Seychelles men are implicated, they will remain in custody until February 18. Chief Justice Govindan has prolonged the remand of those accused as the defense lawyer of Fabio Subramanian, Basil Wao, has not contacted his client nor made any court appearances regardless the court's effort to notify him. Mr. Govindan advised Fabio to find another legal representative, to which he informed the court that Mr. Frank Borte will be his new defense lawyer. Mr. Borte is also representing Gérard Bastien in this case. At the next hearing, the accused are expecting to take a plea.
The Supreme Court has imposed a 30-year sentence on a man from Bissetan-Pralin after finding him guilty of sexually abusing a 9-year-old girl. The man was convicted on 2 charges. He received a 15-year sentence for each charge, which will run consecutively. Time spent whilst he was remanded in custody will be counted as part of his sentence. The court heard that the 9-year-old victim was sleeping over at her friend's house when the man lured her into his bedroom and abused her. In passing judgment, Chief Justice Govindan noted that the action of her abuser will mark the girl for life and a strong deterrent was required in this instance. The court has said the man can appeal against the sentence imposed on him. The Central Bank of Seychelles has reviewed the policies it put in place to help stabilize the economy during the COVID-19 pandemic. Amongst these policies, the bank will maintain several of them, including 2 lines of credit extended to businesses. Furthermore, banks and other financial institutions may now consider paying dividends, but before doing so, they need to go through the central bank.
Some of them we have extended the time frame for those policies to be in place, like the relief scheme, which we've extended for another 2 months. And some we are going back to normal practices prior to the pandemic. And in light of these decisions, the central bank is satisfied that the economy is on the path of recovery and that the policy adjustment reflects this stance, and we stand ready to adjust policies based on circumstances. We now have an index of health and economic situation, and this would be the compass that will guide central bank in the adjustment of policies going forward.
The government, through the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Trade, is issuing 2 Treasury Bonds for fiscal purposes. The 3-year and 7-year bonds will be worth a total of 500 million rupees. In parallel, the Development Bank of Seychelles, DBS, will be issuing a 5-year bond worth 200 million rupees, which will be guaranteed by the government. The 3-year and 7-year Treasury Bonds will be earning a fixed interest rate of 2.50% and 5% per annum, respectively. Interest payments for the two bonds will be done half-yearly on April 15th and October 15th and calculated on a 365-day year. The Minister for Transport has said that a floating dry dock facility would close the existing gap in the commercial and industrial fishing industry. Minister Anthony Deschak made the comment after he visited the site at Perseverance, where the project is to be implemented. Investors can forward their letters of interest to the Port Authority. Minister Deschak said the floating dry dock will repair ships of up to 5,000 tons.
For example, longliners and purseaners fishing in the waters surrounding Seychelles in our EEZ or outside can now come to Port Victoria instead of going to Mombasa, Mauritius, La Réunion for ship repairs. This creates a hub for fishing in Seychelles. It will also create jobs, both specialized and manual. It will create other industries, mechanical and electrical, surrounding this project.
The Ministry of Health has received 10,000 masks and 800 PPEs to help with treatment of COVID-19 patients. The Ambassador of China for Seychelles, Bo Wei, presented the materials to the Mayor of Victoria, David André, in the presence of representatives from the Ministry of Health and the Healthcare Agency. The donation is a gift from the Chinese city of Nanjing, which has relations with Victoria since 2019. Also present were representatives of the courier company DHL, which managed transportation of these materials free of charge. The Deputy CEO of the Healthcare Agency, Kathleen Cecile, says that this donation will help in assuring the health and safety of healthcare workers.
PPEs are used on a daily basis, different PPEs depending on where the healthcare workers are working, and higher level PPEs are used in the facilities where we are actually treating COVID-19 patients. So these will help us to assure optimal protection of our healthcare workers from infection, because in the past our healthcare workers have been and continue to be actually infected as well. Not necessarily in their line of duty, but when healthcare workers are infected, it puts a strain on the service. So the more they are protected, the better for the healthcare agency, the Ministry of Health, and the population of Seychelles, of course.
The Ministry of Investment, Entrepreneurship and Industry says it's conducting a review of all activities by food vans in the country. It says the move follows concerns that some food vans are not operating in an approved location. Some of them do not have a lease agreement or are operating in unhygienic conditions. Additionally, the government says it has received an increase in the number of food van applications on state land. This is why the number of requests against the availability of spaces for this business and requests for spaces for other activities are being assessed by the authorities. Until the review is completed, the government says it's not accepting any new applications to operate food vans on state land. Those are our main stories so far this Thursday evening. Join us again at 8. Bye for now.